Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. I had some videos up for right before spring break for this module. Juan did some stuff with it during class at that time. I was getting my eyes dilated. It was just more with arrays, so it wasn't a new topic like today's stuff is. Structures is a new topic. I have gone into Notes 8A and I've copied this code and I put it here, but I have commented out everything. So comment it all out so it doesn't run right away. I just left the main void, int main void, and that there. And I commented and I left the IO stream and shit like that. We're gonna turn the other shit back on, but like I wanna like walk through the idea of what's going on here. Give you a little time to do that. Where the hell is everybody? Fucking 6 students in class out of what, 18 or some shit like that? They're like, fuck it. He records it. Do I need to go? It's good to come because it kind of forces you to pay attention. Because if you find yourself doing this video at home or not, how many are online? There's 3 other students online. Okay. If you find yourself doing it at home, it's really easy to get distracted by that fucking phone. And then you're not really paying attention. And next thing you're like, I need to chat GPT this shit because I don't know what I'm doing. And then you get an F. Don't do that. Okay. So I'm assuming you commented all that out. We got an x equals 5. Int is a data type. X is a declaration of an object of type integer. And here we instantiated it, which means created an instance of it. Okay, so computer programming, modern computer programming is all about, it's called object-oriented programming. So when we gave it the 5, that's where we instantiated it. We instantiated it. Ooh, that's a lot of, there we go. Okay, so we know there's a lot of data types we know that we make objects of. Strings, doubles, ints, etc. Juan, what's your favorite video game?
I don't know.
This is just, okay, what's a video game that you like? It doesn't have to be your favorite.
Working.
That's not a video game.
I said board games.
I don't want to do board game. I guess we could do board
I
games.
said board games. Okay.
All right, this is take too long.
I don't play video games.
Uh, Mario 64. All right, so Super Mario. Mario. How the fuck do they make Mario? He's not a string. He's not a double. He's not an integer. He's a person. His surface is crafted with polygons. Well, I don't know if they still do polygons with. No, I'm sure they do. So the idea here is we can create our own data types. And then make objects by creating them in our program. The one we're learning today is called structures. Structures are what we are learning today. So we make the template for that. That template's not the right word I want to use. What's another word for template? The blueprint above the main. Because we use the word template in computer science. I don't know. It's got a different meaning. Giving everyone a chance to type this, type it out. I'm grading algebra students. They're online, so I have no way of watching them when they test or anything. Some students got fucking derivatives and limits and shit in there. I'm like, no, F. Fucking no, you didn't do this shit. Because if you knew how to do this shit, you wouldn't be in this class. That's a fucking. They're like, yeah, I was right. But I know you don't know how to do it. It's fucking funny, right? Same shit happened in here on the first test. We, half the class, or at least the online class, submitted arrays for the fucking dice rolling thing. We hadn't done arrays yet. A couple people did pointers. We haven't done, I still haven't done pointers. We're going to touch on pointers today, but we'll do pointers and vectors next time. All right, so command word for structure is not structure, it's struct. So Mario is a person. Let's make this a person structure. So by default, everything in person is available. The word is publicly, which means all elements of it are accessible through any program that has access to it. Which means you can edit it and shit. There's another thing that we're going to do in several weeks called classes, which aren't, and everything's private. So you can't just automatically go edit shit. But structures, if you don't need any privacy or anything like that, work just fine. So what do people have? We have names. So let's just start defining characteristics or stuff that people have. We have a first name. We have a last name. We might have an occupation. Occupation is a long word. Let's go with job. We have an age, and I'm gonna use integer because unless you're fucking under 5, you don't use fractions or decimals or anything. What else we got? We could say social security number, but not everyone does. That's a US thing. Not everyone has a driver's license.
Country of origin. Birthplace.
Country of birth, birthplace. We'll add that.
Like citizen.
Birthplace, maybe nationality. I got that under job. So this is like a blueprint without any information in it. We're just defining things that we're going to say the person has. Okay. Everyone ready to, let me give you a little bit longer to roll that shit out. Actually, I don't see anybody typing. So, age I'm going to remember. I'm not going to remember these. So I'm just going to copy this down here just so I can see what we had. So let's make a person. In Visual Studios, they use dark blue for default data types and commands. They use this teal for user-made program stuff. So let's call this person SI. We're declaring, creating an object called SI using the blueprint or struct person. So we can go in and if we do SI dot, take a look at what shows up on the screen. This is Visual Studios. Not every command, not every IDE is going to have this. But Visual Studios pops up a list of things that we can do that are part of the person blueprint. Age, birthplace, first name, job, last name, nationality. So SI first name is 1. So we use dot to indicate. Okay, we use the object name followed by a dot, period, to access the different components of person. Here we accessed first name and changed it from nothing to something. And we can go through and do the rest. I can do last name. Dawes. Case matters. I should have done lowercase. Job. He's a minion of Hepe. SI dot age. 24, 23, 22, 21, 24. 21. Happy birthday. Oh yeah, you told me you were going, you're camping for your birthday.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was 20. Really? You went camping for your 21st? But that's going to a bar birthday. Even if you don't like drinking, you still do it once on your 21st birthday. This is wrong.
I got cider.
Cider, get the fuck out.
I didn't do that.
Well, see, that's wrong.
I mean, I was just not interested in drinking, and like no one in my family was like, oh,
You need friends to peer pressure you into that shit. Birthplace. Santa Rosa. SI nationality. American. Right? We made a person. We created one. All right, so that's not what I wanted to do. I wanted to put Visual Studios up. Okay, there we go. Visualizer. So like the whole blueprint part has its own spot in memory. The blueprint is in one spot per person. The person blueprint is like, let's say it's here in memory. And then when we said person SI, by doing that, we generated an object in memory that's different than this. This is just like the code for a person, but not an object. That is some blurry shit. That's not a whole lot better. Straight up and down helps a little bit. So here it's got some space occupied. At first it had first name. It's saving some spot. There was nothing in it. Last name, nothing in it. It was all boy, there was nothing in it. It was null. Age, blah, blah, blah. And then as we went through the code, as we went down and after, so this was the declaration of the object. Declaration, but no data in it. Then we started populating, populate the object with data. So then we went and filled in Juan, and we filled in Ordaz, and we filled in 21, and we filled in all the rest. So it's an object in memory. So like if we want to make another object, person Mario, it's going to create, it might be somewhere else in memory. It's going to come over here and create object Mario. So let's make object Mario. Person Mario. I'm going to go lowercase. We don't tend to capitalize variables. The only reason I capitalized SI was because it's an acronym. So Mario, you know what? Let's call it Super Mario. Because Mario is his first name, and that's kind of a lame, like call a person after, well, I guess we call people by their first name all the time. Super Mario, we want to set his first name to Mario. It's me, Mario. And I have no idea what Mario's last name. I'm gonna capitalize the M. Camel case that motherfucker. Camel case is good stuff. Last name. Does anyone know Mario's last name? Does he have a last name?
It's Mario Mario.
Yeah, it's Mario Mario, so say it the Mario movie.
That's the
Was it in the Mario? I didn't remember that.
not
I didn't see it, but yeah, it's Mario
That's
and
fucking.
Luigi Mario.
basically the one from the 90s, the Mario movie, the action one. They joke, they get arrested and say, "What's your name, Mario?"
Well, we know his job, right? He's a plumber. I have no idea how old he is.
Mario's supposed to be in his mid-20s, which is weird.
I was 40.
He's kind of, yeah, 40, you're not running around doing fucking Super Mario shit. It's got 25. Mario's activities are a young man's game. That's not someone that's 40.
It was 40 because it was a Grassy one, or not Grassy, the old movie, the action one.
He's Italian. And I think that's his nationality. Although I'm not sure. What? Italian American? Okay. He's in. We can go with that. I'm pretty sure Mario came out in Japan though. So, but they never show him doing in Japan shit. So he's not like Japanese. Is anyone watching Shogun?
I know you're talking about,
This week they just had it on Tuesday. The new episode came out, and the dude had this fucking helmet that is, it's got to be historically accurate. But what the fuck? I'll show it to you guys later. That's a break thing to do. All right. So we got a couple people made. Can I see them out? It was easy to see out my ex. Can I see out Mario? No. This doesn't work. Because see out only works on the native data types. Good to know, right? We can create something. Let's how can I actually see it out the way I want? We can say see out Super Mario. Let's start with one. We'll say see out SI first name. Put a little space in. SI dot last name. And I'm just going to do that for now, and we'll take a look at what happens. So we can see out the elements by telling it, we can't just say SI or Super Mario. We have to tell it what we want to, what element in there we want to see out. First name is a string, and that is a native data type. So see out works on it. So these are both native data types. They're strings. So we could add a little bit more. Profession. And we put in si.job. And I'll add some space. And we'll do age. SI.age. And you can do this however you want. I'm going to say, I'm just filling in like a reasonable way to have this print out to the screen so it looks presentable. Birthplace. SI.birthplace. And nationality. SI.nationality. I wasn't very creative there. I could have said country of origin and country of citizenship if I wanted to. But what if I didn't put a country? What if Juan, in fact, we didn't put a country. Juan said Santa Rosa, right?
Yeah.
That's not a fun country. So like leaving in general and birthplace is good. Nationality should have a nation in it. You can't say Santa Rosa and no, just throws us out. Okay. I'm gonna run it, make sure everyone looks like they're done typing in a second. I'm just running it to make sure it works the way I want it to. There we go. American. So this see out thing seems like a pain in the ass if I want to do it for every person, right? See how bullshit seems like a pain in the ass to do it for every single person. So we've been doing stuff called functions, but when we do it inside of a structure, a function inside of a structure, like a print function, is called a method. So let's show you how to make a print method. Everyone ready? All right, so we got to go up and do it in our person. And let's just do void print. Print seem good? Void print void. And I'm going to basically come down here and I'm going to copy all this shit because I don't want to type it again. And I'm going to put it up here in my print method. And instead of saying si.firstname, I'm just going to have it say first name. And I'll have it say last name. So we do, SI is specific to Juan. But we're building a blueprint. The blueprint can't reference any single person.
What's the name of the guy who did this?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
He used like this, not this.
A couple, every once in a while, I have a student that does it all the fucking time. Like, let that shit go. It's only relevant if you're gonna have another object transferred in that's the exact same data type. Let's not go down that road. Actually, I'm gonna make a note of that. If you are looking this shit up later on and you see a command called this, don't fucking use it. When you're ready for this, and it's literally, you don't need it until maybe CSCI 2, and it's really rare exceptions. If it comes up this semester, I'll show you how to use this. It's pointless. So if you see this, it's called, that's the word, this. They use it as a command in programming. It just means access this item. So they would say this dot first name. And so it references itself, but we're already in the structure. We're already fucking referencing ourselves. So it looks idiotic at best. So now we got this print method. So rather than coming down here and doing that, let's comment that out. We're going to do si.print. And then I'll do some spaces here, and then we'll do Super Mario. Just like a function. Other than we have to reference the object first, or state the object first, then a period, followed by the method name. If there's shit that goes in the method name, or goes in the method, like an argument, you put it in here. Put it in the parentheses. We'll cover that in a second. Constructor seems like a good way to cover that. This is kind of cool. We can like put whatever the fuck we want. Like, I'm just putting a name and shit like that, but like, if we were creating video game characters, now all of a sudden we could start putting in shit like attack moves and fucking audio bits, like when they do a punch and like what sound do they make, or when they get hit, what sound do they make? That's beyond the scope of this class. We're not doing, it's even beyond CSCI 2. This is just general basic stuff. But if you want to get into game making, it's the same idea. You can make this whole object that we just define ourselves. Let's hit run. Everybody look like they're done typing. And bam, there we go. All right. I'm going to comment out that C out X. We don't need that in there. Okay. So just like we did function prototype and implementation separately, we did prototype above and implementation below. Let's do that here. So let's switch to the prototype above main and implementation below. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this whole thing. And we're going to go down below. Function implementations. Okay, so when I put it below, it doesn't just want to let me do it. What we have to do is tell it what print belongs to. This print is part of something. So we're going to tell it it's part of person, and we're going to put 2 colons. And now all of a sudden it works. So when doing implementations, this says function implementations. That's not what we're doing. We're doing method implementations.
Do the method implementations go before or after the function implementations?
It doesn't matter
Oh.
at that point, as long as it's after the main. But we have, okay, so you do the struct name colon method name, and then any arguments that go in. The colon is called the scope resolution operator. So what does that mean? Scope is like where it has jurisdiction. Scope kind of means where it has jurisdiction, or where it can say what it wants to do, or where it's in charge. That seem like a good way to describe it? Anything better? Trying to do like layperson here. So like this print command is only good when it's working with a person. A person has to be present, and the person's in charge of that print command. It's only good there. It's not really where it has jurisdiction, more like where it can be used. That seems better, right? Scope kind of means where it can be used. In this case, the print command can only be used by a person object. There's more shit going on here too. There's even more. So like this print method, we didn't do anything but just see out stuff. But in general, it's also the area that any variables that are made exist. And when the method is done running, all the variables made in the method disappear. I'll do an example of this right here. I'm going to do, we got the C out here. I'm going to say int y equals 12. For demonstration purposes only. If I try to come up here and do a C out of y, What is it saying? Identify y is undefined. That y only exists. Y only exists in the person.print method. So it doesn't exist. That's where it exists.
Like the for loop.
Yes. If we declare like int I equals 0, as soon as the for loop's done, I is just gone. There's no I left. Unless you do the int I before the for loop and just, yeah, exactly. It's perfect.
There's also global.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Global is you're declaring the variable, but unless you mean something else right now. So see the C out in main that we can't access Y. There.
The global, like if you were to do it outside of the main function, you can access it anywhere.
I can't access Y out here.
So no. If you put it as a global, so meaning not in the main, it's outside of all functions.
What are you talking about? Like which part?
So if
What am I making a global here? Let's start with that.
What's that?
What are you wanting to just talk about for the global?
Oh,
You're talking about the Y thing I just did, or the like?
no, I'm just saying unless you put it in global.
If you make a global variable, yeah, then it's accessible everywhere. In the main and all, yeah. Okay, so if we go up to the top and you do globals up here, global variables up here are available in all things that follow. That's important is afterwards. If I put a method up here or a function up here and then declare it afterwards, it's not in the fucking right order. It's not going to access it. Unless the fucking IDEs have changed. It has to go in order. So global variables are available in all things that follow, but we didn't have any global variables. So if I declared Y out here, I could use Y anywhere, but I didn't. So global variables have unlimited scope. This is called the scope resolution operator. So let's go back down to that because that's the important part. This is necessary for any time we want to do a method. Remind you of what?
You have the universe and then
Yeah, kind of. All right, so like, there's got to be an easy way to. So we made the print method easier. There's got to be an easier way to do this shit too, right? So this is where so like, let's simplify the creation of new objects by creating and it's called a constructor. Oh, I need to go up here. I didn't change this shit up here. I need to comment that out. There we go. Okay. So we're going to create, it's called a constructor. It constructs things. Gonna run again, make sure I didn't fuck anything up. All right, everything's running good. All right. So this is how constructors work. We go up into our structure. I'm going to do something here where it says methods. So we got our print method there. To do it, You just give the name of the object. And then you tell it what kind of things are going to go in it. String arg first, not age first. You kind of want to, you don't want to have string first name, string last name. That looks terrible. Use something that says argument. String last name, arg last. What should we have? What will we say next automatically? Seems like birthplace and nationality would be last. Do we want to go with age next? Int arg age. String arg job. String arg b. And then string arg n for birthplace and nationality. So we're going to do that implementation thing. This is our prototype. We're going to implement it down below. Giving everybody a chance. You can pick the order that you want to put them in. I just think like it seems to me that you're going to do the names first. And then like you might have job before age. It might be however order you want it in, but it needs to be consistent because that's the only way you can create them afterwards. All right, so let's copy this down below. And now it's not happy. I will do it before this one. I'll do it here. The right keys, Jones. And again, we have to do that scope resolution thing. So we have to tell it that this is in the person structure. And it seems weird seeing person dot or person colon colon person. But when you see the name done like this, it's telling you this is how you make a constructor. So we're passing in a bunch of arguments. What do we do with them? We're going to assign first name equals arg first. Last name equals arg last. Job equals arg job. Notice I don't have to do them in the order that they're in the constructor. Birthplace equals arg b. Nationality equals arg n. And age equals arg age. It's not happy because I don't have a null case. The default. And I'm going to show that real quick. I want to give everyone a chance to make this. So this is our implementation of the constructor method. Notice I haven't implemented, I haven't used it in the main, but once I've created it, if I try to run it, it gives me a problem. I haven't changed anything in the main. This shouldn't be a problem. So what happens is once you've made a constructor, the imaginary default constructor, like whenever you create a new structure in C++, it just creates a default structure where everything's empty. But by making this constructor, it says, all right, we don't have a default anymore. So we need to have something, the problem it's saying comes right here. I'm trying to create SI, but there's no default where there's nothing in it. We can fix that by just leaving these empty. Give them default values. Now we'll just leave it empty.
Question.
Yeah.
Is that why the T-pose exists?
Why the what exists?
The T-pose with the model in games where they have the default state.
The T what?
T-pose, the T-pose is a model that most other games, even animators, do. It's when you spawn in the model in like the frame rate of like the road.
Or they just like that?
Yeah, it just pops like this.
It might be. It seems like weird to me to not have like the arms down for the default model, but it might be.
It's more like, say that you're playing a character and you just customize the character, but you skip right into the game that you customize the character, so you have the default setting. So it just kind of defaults to whatever is the default code or whatever.
So some games, there's no options with what you can customize. Other ones, they come with the default one when you like the first, when you go to make a new character, it's automatically male. It's got brown hair. It's, fucking average build, average everything. And you're like, no, I want to fucking play chick. I want her to have, big gazongas. And like, you got to change all that shit. So there's a lot of options in there that you can set it, but like, that's not really that's referring to your T-pose thing. I don't know. I don't recall seeing a T-pose in anything.
Mainly if the beginning, it is a cutscene. So they want to use it the most.
What games have it?
A lot.
Name one.
Call of Duty, AAA.
Usually it
Okay.
occurs when it bugs out, and it doesn't. I think it's because it couldn't call the correct process. So, but since it's being displayed to the screen, it has to put something there.
Yeah, so that ends up being like an error. Something to. That's an error message. It happens to be visual. It has to be, and I'm imagining the person rotates.
Yeah.
They don't understand there. Yeah, that is just a visual error message rather than saying there's a problem. They'll like give you something to look at. I don't know. That's just artwork. A default, the constructor is when you're creating a new character. If you don't customize shit, you just click create and go. And it doesn't random. Some games automatically give you random right away. You can't just create a custom one, but others definitely come with the default. Dark Souls does. If you create a character in Dark Souls, it starts with everything that's set at the top thing on the menu. That's the default for that character. So the T-pose is just artwork. Notice that before I got rid of that. Before I had that in, I don't have anything for Argan in. I click run. It's not showing the errors anymore. It should. It needs a default thing for every single one. Now, I just made a really long one. This is one that has everything. Let's go make Mario with this. So I'm going to come down here and we're going to remake Mario with that. So let's go with Luigi. How about Luigi? Super Luigi. Rather than doing all this stuff where we populate it after we create it, what we're going to do is label it here. Is Luigi's last name Mario? Because they're brothers.
Yeah.
That's fucked up. That is some fucked up shit. Your last name is your brother's first name. We had, and notice not every ID does it, but this one does. It tells me the order that I need to enter stuff in. Age, I think Luigi's older, right? Luigi's the younger brother?
Yeah.
Everybody's like, fucking. All right. The job was plumber. They're twins. If they're twins, I'll use the same age. Italian American. And now I'm going to come down here and we're going to just run Super Luigi print.
Are we able to see the defaults?
You want to create a character that has nothing in it?
No, like, before we, for example, record it. You know, how Mario started off as a default character. And then
Oh, yeah. Let's do that after the Super Luigi. So we're going to run it, take a look at it, see that Super Luigi is made. Look at that. Pretty handy. So we can do it all as one line rather than, because let's face it, I had 6 here, and that feels like a lot. But now picture like something like a character in Dark Souls where you're customizing hair and eye color and fucking every single thing has a different setting, and you're going to have a weapon and you're going to have, armor in each slot. We could have like 100 fucking things here. But when you're creating a default one, it's kind of nice to have just something that short. What Juan was saying is, what happens if I do Super Mario print here before I've given it any information? So this is printing before population. Populating it with values. We don't have a name. Nothing shows up there. This thing up here was Super Mario print. We can show that by doing cout. Here's an empty Super Mario print. Just so you can see where it's coming from. There's a blank line there. There's supposed to be something there. But when you look at the print method, those lines are filling in with what we have set right here. So it does have one thing. It has age 18 because I gave it the default setting to age 18. That seems, if you were like a Dark Souls constructor, it seems like that would be miserable to type up. You wouldn't want to have it. That'd be a fucking super long code. So you can have more than one constructor. So let's say you don't know what their fucking job is or where they're born. Like most people you meet, you don't know their fucking birthplace or their nationality. You don't even fucking know their age. You may not even know their last name. But let's assume you know their first name and the last name. let's make a default constructor for that scenario. We can say person string arg f string arg l, where we just know the names. And I'm going to take this down. I'm going to put it down below. We're going to implement it down below. And I'm going to do this real quick, because we do want to have that default blank there. And I'm going to come down here and we're going to do the implementation down here. And we need to scope it again. And what I recommend doing is, if you've already got the full one already done, come up here or grab it, copy and paste it, and edit what you need. First name is argf, last name is argl. And this is where we're going to set everything else to be blank. So we got to give it shit to do. A smaller constructor. And give it problems now. Because now there's two constructors and it doesn't know which to choose from. Should we make one that's just empty? Yeah. Let's make another constructor while we're here. And we'll put the prototype above, but this one doesn't take anything in. And I'm going to change these to just be blanks. Yeah, maybe we'll go John Doe. How about that? And I need to implement it up above, or prototype it up above. But I'm going to pause and let everyone do it. All right, let's come up top and put that shit up here. In our methods up here. Maybe I'll say void. I don't like anything in there. Really? Why? That should have been fine. Am I missing something here, Juan? Sure as hell don't like it. Class person has more than one default. Oh, okay. So when you make a default like this, where it's completely empty, Get rid of this crap. The equal part. Actually, let me undo that and I'm going to comment out that line. And I will comment out that line and make a copy of that. Because I want people to see what we did before. And here I'm getting rid of all of this shit right here. Because the equal signs are our default things. And so now it's like you've got a bunch. And I don't know if you saw it, but as soon as I got rid of the equals quotation mark, the red things went away. So I'm going to make a little comment right here. These two below are only really necessary with the equal signs and shit in them. If, and that's a big if, you don't have a default constructor that is completely empty. Like person, like that. So you'll notice they look the same, but one's got equals and blank shit and the other doesn't. And just to make sure everything's working, I'm going to run it without changing anything in the main. Thank you. So this one, the first one will be SI uses our default constructor. And we're going to change Super Mario. We already saw that presentation. I'm going to do Super Mario with the second option that we made, where we just passed in the first name and last name. And I don't need these two lines anymore. However, well, let's run it like that first. So all of them work. And I want you to note Mario is using the stuff we passed in. When I said things are instructors are public, this is what I mean. Even though I've declared Super Mario to be Mario, at any point in here, I can change his name. So I'm going to do a Super Mario print here. And then we'll do the Super Mario print. In fact, I'll say, see out Super Mario print before edit in the main. And then I'm going to add Super Mario after editing in the main. So thank you. So Super Mario used the default constructor. Then I went through and said, nope, Mario, your name's not Mario anymore. Your name's David Jones. That's because all the elements of person are publicly available in the main. So if you're working with a team and you're all accessing the same like structure, anyone can change the name of your character or whatever like stats they want to do because everything's publicly available. When we do classes, we'll see how to get bypass that. You may not want the graphics team being able to fuck up like your inventory on a character. We can do arrays. So I'm going to come down here. I'm going to say constant size equals 3. And we're going to make a person array. We'll call it people, because I'm clever like that. And I could say people dot, not people dot, people 0. We'll set this to SI. I don't want to make 3 new people. I'm going to say people 1 is Super Mario. I'm going to say people 2 or people, yeah, is Super Luigi. Let's make it constant size 4 and show that we can create a new one right away, right here. So people 3 is going to be person John Red. I don't know. He's got to be like 60 or some shit like that. He's a wannabe teacher. Nah, we'll give him teacher. AI, no, Chat GPT advocate. I'm gonna say AI advocate. Chat GPT advocate. I don't know. California is his birthplace, we'll say, and he's American. And it doesn't need me to say people, person. What's wrong here? What am I doing wrong here, Juan?
The 16 quotations.
I should say for what?
The 16 quotations.
You're right. I declared that as a string. Good catch. So if you want to declare a new one in the array as you're going, you can just do it like this. Now I'm going to go grab what we did for Super Luigi real quick. And I'm going to comment it. I'm going to put it below it. I'm going to comment it out. Notice that Redden's instantiation follows a different pattern than Luigi. So on Luigi, we said person, and we were giving it a name. But like now, the only way to access John Redden is through the array. Luigi exists in actually 2 places now. It exists where we created Luigi. And then when we made the array, we made an array and it took up new memory. And we assigned a copy of Luigi there. So Redden's only in the array. Luigi's in a couple spots.
But if we type up the address of.
I didn't create it as I didn't create it as an address thing. Let's do addresses in a second.
There's 2 addresses for these.
Should be. Let's do a print. Address for Super Luigi. Address for Super Luigi in array. These 2. We'll do a print thing for the array in a second. There you go, one. 2 different addresses. So notice that we have 2 different addresses. So Super Luigi is in 2 spots. Where he was declared originally, created originally, and a copy was put in the array. Let's make a function real quick that allows us to print people arrays. This is not going to be a method because method only goes inside and only references one person. Wait, people are writing that. I don't want to give you a second to finish typing that. Let's make a print person array or display person array. Letting everyone finish typing that, and then we're gonna go up. Well, one way real quick, without a method, we can just do for int I equals 0, I less than size, I plus plus. So this is printing using the method, not a print function. We're going to say people bracket I dot print. Maybe throw out some end lines here. And we'll run that real quick just to show that it works. Oh, I should have put a gap in there. Let's do that. See how. There's a better way to do this. Here we print. Using a for loop. And the print for person. I'm just making it look cleaner. Maybe I'll throw in another end line, put a little gap there. All right, let's go make a print method, not method, function. So our structure ends here. We don't want our print method to be part of this structure, or not print method, print function, display person array. And this is going to be a void. And we are going to pass it a person array, and we need to pass it a size. Arg size. I'm going to create it down below. Let's see the name down here in just a second. I can just go take the damn array. Let's call it arg here. Give it a name. Do I want to do it like this? Is that what I wanted? And I'm going to go to that for loop, that print loop, because there's no point in doing it differently. That print method that we did there works pretty well. I'm just going to copy it, put it right here, and then rather than saying people I'm going to say arg I. And this is arg size. Hmm?
Because you're getting the size of the array, right?
Yeah, but it is constant in the main. I mean, I can put constant here.
It works the way it is.
Should. Let's go try it. I'm going to come up to the main, and I'm going to copy this line real quick, just because we're giving it a try. Here we print using a nope. Here we print using the display person array function. People, nope. Display, we're passing it in people, and we're passing it in size. So we printed it both ways. This was doing the for loop, and we can pass it. Now, Juan's observation or question earlier, the addresses are different. Do we really want to make the fucking same? Like Super Luigi isn't that big, But what if we're talking about your character in fucking Call of Duty and you are fucking whatever you're playing, Gears of War, and you're in the end game, you got a bunch of shit, there's a fucking big file for your guy. Do we really want copies of your fucking character everywhere in the fucking thing? No. So maybe we should do something where we create it by address or pointer. So I'm going to comment out this right here real quick. We don't need all that. Let's comment out the printing up here. Don't need a bunch of printing. We saw how that worked. Comment out that printing. Just clean up the print thing real quick. I liked this thing was pretty, no, we already showed it, so we'll comment that out as well. So let's come down here and talk about what we can do about having, where we have to just share the object. So the following uses addresses, and we call them pointers because they point to the objects. We use the asterisk to indicate a pointer. Person, asterisk, let's call it a person pointer, just so that we know what it is, equals the address of SI, rather than creating a new person. Maybe we'll call that person pointer 0, person pointer 1, the address is Super Mario, person pointer 2 is the address is Super Luigi. And I think this is enough to demonstrate it. So we're going to do the same thing. We're going to make an array. Actually, how do you see out something like this? So if I try to do person PTR 0 and I try to do this, is it going to work? Did it just fucking fill it in right? God damn it. Yeah, it fucking filled it. God damn it. That's not what I wanted to do. So this is one way to print using pointers or access elements using pointers. It uses an arrow or pointer. Another way to get that same thing is we need to dereference it. Second way to access element. And I don't need to do it with the C out. I could change it. I could do the same thing by, I can change the element because it's public. But we'll just show you that real quick on, I need to give you a second to, because we've never used pointers in here, but they both did the 21. And now our display person array is not going to work. So we're going to have to do a new array for person pointer array. But let's make an array first. I'm not doing this right. That's not right. First people array. Pointer like that. No, the person's pointer's over here.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I am going to populate it faster, just doing this thing. So we're gonna do person PTR 0, person PTR 1, person PTR 2. And maybe we'll pass it. Oh, what? Maybe I'll just say 3. I don't need to say size. I can actually just give it, all right? So we saw how, what one?
Oh, sorry. I just kind of, can we replace the entire person PTR 0 with just as that?
Right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I wanted to show that these two are different. Because what we did up here with Super Mario, where was it? This thing right here, I want to do that down below and show that it's the same address now. So there's a methodology here. So we're gonna see out address of SI, which is person. I'll do an integer version of this. And then address of SI in people array pointers. And SI is in the first element. So int people array bracket 0. And I'm going to comment out those two real quick. Give everyone a chance to do it. And I think I'm going to uncomment the, or take out the, yeah, uncomment the one where we had it above where they were different addresses. I want you to be able to see on the screen at the same time. So where was that? Right here. So Super Luigi, when we did the array, we copied it in. We didn't do pass it by address. And we did pointers here for the array down below. And notice like Super Luigi's addresses are different. But when we do the SI and we use pointers, it uses the same address. So I haven't created Juan more than once. Juan only exists once in the computer, whereas Luigi up here exists in 2 spots. Fun, right? Let me turn off this print thing in the middle. I think that's, where did I print it? Right there. So we can see it all on the screen at the same time. Super Luigi is in 2 different spots. One's in the array and one's not, but they have different addresses. SI outside the address array and SI in the array now have the same address. So like if you have a character and you got a bunch of shit, and that's like takes up a lot of memory, you don't have to have a bunch of fucking duplicates filling up your memory. So we're gonna revisit this pointer thing more later on. I just wanted to introduce it to you today. But let's look at doing a display person pointer array real quick. I'm going to come up here and make a function for it. We'll like copy the name, but person PTR array. I don't know that I need to pass it size anymore, do I? I think it better.
I tried doing it one time using the dot size.
Dot size is with vectors.
It's one for the arrays. I think it's the
Oh, yeah. So let's come down there, and this is the function prototype. And we're going to do the implementation down below. Come down, and I'm going to do it right below our display person array. And to be honest, I'm going to grab this shit and copy and paste it in there, and we're just going to edit this one. So rather than using argi.print, what we're going to do is we're going to dereference argi and do print. There's all of the differences. Because what we're doing here, this is passing in addresses. Passing in the address of the first element of the array. So we need to dereference the pointer so that we get the actual data. Object within. Like taking off the wrapper. What day do I normally do like a evening Zoom thing with this class? I forget. Is it Tuesday? On Tuesday, I'll do another one. We'll make up a new structure and like do something else. Here, like we'll start from scratch, do our own structure. Maybe like do something in math, or I don't want to make a whole video game character because like I think you can see where we're starting with this with the person thing on a character, but we could make a video game character structure. We'll see. So on Tuesday night, I'll do something on Zoom. It'll be recorded. If you don't show up, you can always watch it later. It's just seeing more of this stuff going on. I hope someone comes. Jordan might be there. Jordan likes to show up and do shit with me.
Me?
Don't you?
I keep forgetting about the Tuesday things, so no.
It's not Jordan. Tried to give you an out, Jordan. Make yourself look good. What? Someone shows up. It's not just one. Someone else shows up. All right, we'll find out. If no one shows up, I ain't doing it. I'm not gonna talk to the wall because I'm gonna be at home. I ain't talking to the fucking wall. So, if no one shows up, I'm not doing it because it means no one gives a shit. Right? Even if it's show up for 5 minutes and say, I can't stick around, but I do give a shit, please make it and I'll watch it later. Someone show up. I think that'll get us going for now. I think you've got an idea on how the structure thing works. You got to dabble with pointers. We haven't done a whole lot with pointers. Pointers become our go-to for most of CSCI 2. Right, Juan? There's mostly pointers in there. But that's next semester. And again, like next semester, depending on who you take it with. I don't know that I'm teaching CSCI 2 next semester. I think I only have CSCI 1. You'll be with Redden. Poor souls. He should reintroduce pointers just as a reminder, because he's going to assume that I didn't do my job. He's going to go, you guys didn't cover pointers because Jones is a slacker. I'm sure he's going to talk shit about me the way I talk shit about him. This is how we roll. And I would say, yeah, let's say it. Get the fuck out. We're done. You don't have to leave. You can stay. Anyone got any questions? Chess club's next door. We are doing chess club today, right?
Yeah.
FNL, a couple doors down, and J, what is it, 208? 213? I don't know. Y'all know where it fucking is. I'll see you guys there, or I'll see you next Friday or on Tuesday. Does anyone need something else on the screen to look at?
There was something you were going to show on your break that we didn't take, but I can't remember what it was.
Oh, I was going to show one other thing. I did talk about it.
Yeah.
Let me do it real quick. So Shogun
Oh yeah. I gotta watch the
episode.
original show.
Oh
yeah.
So images. Yeah, this fucking hat. Look at that motherfucking hat.
I think.
Helmet, not hat. Helmet. It's metal.
See that same one in,
You said it's historically accurate.
I got to assume that it is, because I can't see them doing everything else in this to be historically accurate. Well, it is a story. I don't know that it's, I think it's based on history, but I'm sure they've taken some leeway. But I mean, like, historically accurate armor, what they would have worn back then. Everybody else has got similar shit, but he's all of a sudden he's got this dickhead.
I played the Olympic. And they have a Japanese inspired armor, and one of the helmets is a bit long. So it could be a reference.
And I didn't, my wife called that the dickhead helmet first.
Samurai
So,
had some.
let me put the code back up for anyone that was looking at it. And I will stop recording. That was end meeting. I'm going to end meeting in case anyone's